Breaking news that's coming in India. Today's language war news break gets bigger. Prime Minister Modi wades into the language war. Prime Minister Modi's unifying message amid the language debate. Prime Minister Modi has said that BJP supports all languages and regional languages are the spirit of India. Listen in.
Hindi is no more national language. So which is the national language today? Which is the national language?
No national language.
Correct? So what is pan-India? Just because ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಆ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕಾ ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು? ಅರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನೋಡೋದು ಬಿಡೋದು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು, ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡೋದು ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವಿರೋದು. ಸೊ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಸೌತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ.
भारतीय भाषाओं को भारतीयता की आत्मा मानती है और राष्ट्र के बेहतर भविष्य की कड़ी मानती है. इसका जिक्र आज मैं विशेष तौर पर इसलिए करना चाहता हूं क्योंकि बीते कुछ समय से देश में भाषा के आधार पर नए विवाद खड़े करने की कोशिशें की जा रही है. हमें इससे देशवासियों को निरंतर सतर्क करना है. भाजपा भारत की हर भाषा में भारतीय संस्कृति का प्रतिबिंब देखती है. हर भाषा उसे पूजनीय मानती है.
So you heard Prime Minister Modi there categorically stating that BJP supports all languages. He says that over some time now, an attempt is being made to divide India and Indian society over languages, and that is what the BJP, as he was addressing the office bearers meeting of the Bharatiya Janata Party, he said that the BJP should be cautioning people against. He believes, and he said that the core of India's soul, I beg your pardon, lies in its languages, and they in fact are the spirit of India. Regional languages are the spirit of India. Prime Minister Modi's clear, unifying message, which in fact comes after a debate which has been in fact ensuing across the country over some time now, especially over southern states, in fact raising the red flag and saying that there is an attempt which is being made to impose Hindi on southern India. My colleague Karthik from Bengaluru is now joining me live on this. Karthik, a very clear message from Prime Minister Modi where he's stated that regional languages in fact are the spirit of India. The core of India's soul lies in these languages, and no attempt in fact that is made to divide India on language lines should be encouraged. Do you think this will in fact resonate with the people on the ground who've been feeling for a while, especially in southern India, that an attempt is being made to impose Hindi on them?
Well, definitely, Paulami, after the interview by a sister concern, Karnataka, went viral of actor Sudeep, we saw a lot of different reactions that had garnered across the country, and especially in Karnataka after actor Ajay Devgan had replied to Sudeep's tweet in Karnataka politics as well. We saw several reactions and cutting across party lines, be it the Chief Minister of Karnataka and other people vouched their support for Sudeep on this issue. And today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given out this unifying message saying that language should not be a barrier, and regional languages are also the soul of this country. Now, this is definitely sending a unifying message about saying that languages should not become a barrier for people to communicate or to to organize and cooperate. And so this is a very a clear-cut message that's given out by the Prime Minister. Now, in Karnataka as well, we saw different parties, be the BJP, JDS, or the Congress, unify on this stand. They had taken a stand against actor Ajay Devgan's tweets, and later the actor Sudeep also tweeted saying this was a small misunderstanding and said that we should not fight over this issue, and ended the controversy. But certainly the Prime Minister's message is loud and clear, and ahead of Karnataka elections as well, we are going to see more of such problems that could erupt. And this Prime Minister's message is clearly it would have a big impact as far as Karnataka politics is concerned, especially on regional and language politics here.
Okay, let's see how in fact fact, political parties and people across southern states are reacting to this statement from Prime Minister Modi. Let's listen in to R.S. Bharati, DMK leader, who was in fact speaking to my colleague Akshay Nath in Chennai.
I have with me senior DMK leader R.S. Bharati. Thank you for joining us, sir. So we're seeing that today Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken about the language debate. He said that all the languages are equal and the central government respects all of them. But we've been seeing on and off in the last several months the language debate sparking, especially about how imposition of Hindi is happening. How do you want to react on this, sir?
See, the central government should keep up to the assurance given by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru in 1960s. He said, so far as the people are concerned, no language should be imposed upon any language in India. Likewise, unless and until the entire country accepts Hindi, it should not be compelled or imposed. That was in that spirit, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru gave the assurance. But Amit Shah, the Home Minister, has expressed his view that Hindi will be the official language of India. We are not, so far as DMK is concerned, we are not against any language. We are only against the imposition of Hindi or any language upon us. One language should not be imposed upon us. There are so many languages in the country. Likewise, our great leader, Dr. Kalanjar, when an issue was raised in the cabinet regarding the announcement of classical language, our ministers from Tamil Nadu argued that Tamil should become the classical language. Likewise, other state people, Kerala, Karnataka and Andhra people also wanted. And there was a dispute or issue in the cabinet, it seems. Then, DMK leader said that not only Tamil, all other languages also should be made as classical language. So, we are not against any language, but we are against only imposition. We don't want the imposition of Hindi on Tamil, in Tamil Nadu. We have been fighting for this since 1938. And still, time and again, central government people, they say, especially the Home Minister, this is unwarranted. Why should Amit Shah all of a sudden say that everybody should accept Hindi? Because of that only, he is the whole reason for all these issues. So the Prime Minister should blame the Home Minister and not the others.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for joining us. That was DMK's R.S. Bharati saying that it is Amit Shah who is to blame for the spark of language debate. With camera person Daniel from Chennai, this is Akshay Nath for India Today.
Right, so you heard from the DMK over there. The DMK, of course, that first reaction coming in after the Prime Minister, in fact, said that the BJP supports all regional languages and they are indeed the spirit of India. But in fact, raising a red flag over what Home Minister Amit Shah had said earlier. Karthik, my colleague, is still live with me from Bengaluru. Karthik, it appears that was in the case of Tamil Nadu. The DMK, of course, are taking umbrage specifically to what the Home Minister had said earlier. They're saying that the Prime Minister's message is welcome, but the Home Minister had in fact said that when... Let's listen in fact... Let's cut across to my colleague Akshata Nandagopal, who is joining me also from the newsroom. Akshata, that was a statement which was being made by the DMK. Their first reaction to what the Prime Minister had said just a short while ago. They, of course, taking umbrage to the statement which was made earlier by the Home Minister. They welcomed the Prime Minister's statement, but the Home Minister saying that Hindi should be the official language, treated as the alternative to English, and everyone should be, in fact, using it as the link language, Hindi as the link language. That is the problem. They believe that that is Hindi imposition.
That's right. So the Prime Minister actually speaking now is essentially to send out a message to everyone, including political parties, particularly like the DMK, who've latched on to this time and again polemic to criticize the BJP and to send out a narrative that the BJP is a Hindi-centric party, that they're trying to impose Hindi on people. It's been a debate that's raged on for quite some time, but the fact that the Prime Minister has chosen to speak up about it right now, the timing of this is very, very crucial. It's because we've been seeing this permeate not just the political circles, but cut across now. You know, of course, of the kind of debate that's been going across in film circles as well with regards to Bollywood versus other industries like Tollywood, Collywood and all the others as well. So all of that has perhaps what's led to the Prime Minister now sending out this message, and that too at a party event, at a BJP event is where he's chosen to actually set the record straight on this entire language debate. In a sense, it will also be seen as damage control for all the statements that have been made by BJP leaders, including that of Home Minister Amit Shah, which the DMK has referred to there, when he said that Hindi should be the link language for people from different states, that Hindi should be the unifying language. Those comments, of course, triggered a big political storm, and several political parties in the opposition have time and again questioned the BJP on this. They've latched on to these kind of comments and created quite some trouble for the Bharatiya Janata Party in several states. With the Prime Minister now coming out and speaking on this, the message for the BJP is very clear here, that they're going to go to whatever extent it takes to kind of send across the right message to everyone in this country. The Prime Minister putting out this message that all languages are equal, that all languages matter to us, and that's what makes the spirit of India really shine. So the fact that, you know, he's chosen this platform, sent out this kind of a message, not, naming or talking about the criticism, but just essentially saying that, look, I want to put out this message for everyone to hear, itself speaks volumes of how the BJP is trying to cut through that image of being a Hindi party as it is viewed and deemed in so many states.
Right. Akshata, in terms of, because you did... Okay. Let's listen in to Mr. Narendra Tirupati of the Bharatiya Janata Party, who is joining us on the phone line right now. Akshata, I request you to hold on. Mr. Tirupati, thank you so much for joining us on India Today this morning. The Prime Minister, of course, sending out a very strong message at that office bearers meeting of the BJP, where he's categorically stated that BJP supports all languages, that BJP believes that regional languages are the spirit of India. Do you think that this will lay to rest the entire debate? Because earlier we were, in fact, hearing in from one of the political commentators from the DMK party in Tamil Nadu, and he said while the Prime Minister's statement is very welcome, Mr. Amit Shah's statement earlier, for instance, was not taken very well in southern states, because he said treat Hindi as the alternative to English and Hindi should be the link language.
See, we have been saying this right from the day one, right from RSS started in 1925. It is the policy of the RSS that the students, the children should learn everything from the India and the lots of culture. So definitely the RSS as well as the BJP, we are for all languages, particularly mother tongue for all. And the opposition, particularly the Congress, the DMK, all these people were trying to make politics, trying to do politics, that was silly politics, creating unnecessary tension and provoking the people. That is why the Prime Minister have made it very, very clear that this nation cannot be divided by the language issue.
Okay, so does that mean that this is a very clear message to every BJP Karyakarta and everyone across the nation that Hindi will not be imposed, as is being in fact feared by most in southern states? Celebrities have voiced their opinions, members of parliament have voiced their opinion, politicians have voiced their opinion. You can say that, the politicians are playing politics, but what about celebrities? For instance, the exclusive interview that superstar Kicha Sudeep gave to our sister concern, Karnataka Tak, where he said, why is it that Hindi is not seen as a pan-India language when Hindi cinema does well in southern states, but if southern films like Pushpa, RRR, others do well across India, then suddenly they are pan-India. Earlier they were just allegedly restricted only to their southern respective states.
No, see, we cannot change the constitution. Constitution very clearly says that the official language of the nation is Hindi. Hindi is not a national language. We have made it very, very clear many times. And BJP has never imposed Hindi or any other language. It is not imposing, it will never impose, because our policy is that we all should love our mother tongue like we love our mother India. So there is no question of imposing Hindi. Each and every BJP Karyakarta knows that BJP is for the love towards mother tongue. So there is absolutely the silly politics taken by parties like DMK and others. They are trying to confuse people. They are trying to provoke people. In future, I think the Prime Minister have made it very clear. I think these people will understand and concentrate on better politics, concentrate on politics for growth. I think they should leave all these things from here.
Wouldn't you say, I mean, again, seeking your comments on the same, sir, that when it is said that treat Hindi as the alternative to English, if you are speaking in any other language aside from your own regional or local language, then Hindi should be treated as the alternative language, then you're imposing Hindi.
Now, how come it is imposing Hindi? Whatever said in Constitution, the government has to do that. It is the duty of the Home Minister who is in charge of the Hindi promotion department. So it is not only our Home Minister or the present Home Minister, whether it is Mr. P. Chidambaram or whoever it is, whoever been in that position, they have been doing that. It is an accepted principle. It is an accepted policy of the country. So how can you say that we are imposing Hindi? Nobody can impose any language because it is related to the brain. Whether to read Hindi or not, it is my will and wish. Nobody can compel or impose. And everybody knows that.
Okay. Mr. Tirupati, thank you so much for speaking to India Today. My colleagues Akshay and Akshata are also joining me live right now. Akshay earlier spoke to DMK leader R.S. Bharati. Akshay, I'll come across to you right now. What Mr. Tirupati earlier was saying is that it is the official language. Hindi is the official language. It's written in the constitution. We can't change it, but nobody is imposing it. Nobody is forcing you to speak the language. So it is southern parties which are actually using this issue in order to play politics.
Well, Paulami, what we have to notice here is that the first statement came from Home Minister Amit Shah, who said that Hindi should be thought of as a linked language instead of English. That is what had sparked the debate here. Yes, the fear of Hindi imposition has been there in southern states, especially from 1938 onwards itself. We have seen huge protests in Tamil Nadu before as well. From 1938, multiple Hindi imposition protests have happened, and that is what has once again sparked this time also. We had seen the Dravidiya Karagam, one of the oldest parties in the state of Tamil Nadu, also having a long march from the Periyar statue to the Egmore station earlier, a few days back, where they had said that they will continue their protest till the central government changes its stand on the Hindi imposition stand. And we're also seeing several Bollywood actors talking about Hindi imposition. They're also going on to say that Hindi is a national language. So those kind of misconceptions were what the South Indian politicians and especially the DMK, Dravidiya Karagam were fighting against. And now again, with the Prime Minister's statement, we're seeing that the DMK is welcoming Prime Minister's statement that all languages will be treated equally, all languages will be given its space. But they also wanted to point out that it was Amit Shah who had once again sparked the Hindi debate in the state now. So we have to wait and watch as to how the BJP is going to react on it. But it's very clear that there have been several attempts for bringing in Hindi in many parts of the country, especially in Tamil Nadu. We're seeing many drastic changes. For example, for the railway exams and similar central government exams, Hindi was being put as a question paper format. So that kind of things have also sparked debate in the state of Tamil Nadu. But now we can at least find a little bit of peace with the Prime Minister's this statement during a BJP event, which will be seen as a reassuring one and also might bring an end to this language debate for now, Paulami.
Okay. Akshata, do you think this ends the debate, as Akshay says? Because definitely some reassuring words from Prime Minister Modi, but a lot of damage has been done in the past with some statements which have been made. But this, of course, was an attempt at damage control. So does this end the debate, Akshata?
Well, we'll have to see if it ends the politics. Highly doubt it, Paulami, because, you know, there have been political parties who made the most of this, particularly in states like Tamil Nadu, which I'm sure Akshay also will vouch for. The fact is that something like this is a hugely emotive and sentimental issue in Tamil Nadu. When you talk about Tamil pride, the Tamil language and all of that. And this image that the DMK and several other political parties have very carefully crafted for the BJP, saying that, you know, they're a Hindi imposition party, they're a Hindi party. They're not going to let BJP shed that image easily. easily. But yes, the Prime Minister and the fact that he himself has chosen to speak about this is something that will definitely work in BJP's favor. But you've heard how the DMK has reacted. You know, they're saying that it's very good that the Prime Minister said this, but that the BJP needs to walk the talk. What about what Home Minister Amit Shah said as well? So they're not going to let the issue essentially die because of the kind of political benefits they and several other political parties really reap from this kind of a narrative that the BJP only wants to push Hindi, wants to suppress other regional languages, etc. So for this really to make a difference beyond the Prime Minister's speech, which no doubt does in fact help the BJP to a great extent, the Bharatiya Janata Party no doubt will also go ahead with a full-blown campaign now to follow this up.
Absolutely. The BJP will, of course, use the statement by the Prime Minister to tell everyone that the BJP is not out to divide anyone on the basis of language, however much that has been feared by political parties and celebrities alike who've also spoken out about this, especially from southern states. Lavanya Balal of the Congress Party is now joining me on the phone line. Thank you so much for speaking with us, ma'am. Your first reaction to the Prime Minister's statement today, the Prime Minister, of course, wading into this language debate, which has been sparked across the country. He says that regional languages are the spirit of India. BJP supports all languages. Okay, we'll try and reconnect with Lavanya Balal. We seem to have lost the phone line with her right now. But the Prime Minister, of course, has spoken out as far as this debate is concerned. He has said that regional languages are the spirit of India, and there are some attempts which are being made in order to try and divide Indian society on the basis of language, and that shouldn't be allowed. And the BJP and its party workers should go out there and caution people against, in fact, this attempt, which he said is allegedly being made by political parties. Akshay Nath, my colleague, is in fact live with me from Chennai. Akshay, the BJP will of course hope that this in fact helps their case in southern states, especially states like Karnataka, of course, which go into elections next year. But across southern India, this helps their case because the BJP... Okay. I believe Ms. Lavanya Balal is back on the phone line with us, ma'am. Thank you so much for speaking to India Today. Your first reaction to the Prime Minister's statement today at an office bearers meeting of the BJP, where he says that BJP supports all regional languages, supports all languages, regional languages specifically, are the spirit of India.
Very surprising, but a very welcome statement. We would request the Prime Minister of the nation, Mr. Modi ji, to ensure that his ministers follow this statement that he is making, because just a month ago it was Mr. Amit Shah, our Home Minister, Honorable Home Minister, who said something very opposite of what the Prime Minister is saying today. So we request the Prime Minister to ensure every BJP leader follows this and does not only say, hey, the official languages of India are the national languages of India. We welcome this, especially in South India, where we have a 3-language policy in schools. It's time for North Indian states also to follow the 3-language policy with the changing times and the current scenario. That's all we have to say. We request the Prime Minister to ensure all his ministers follow the talk.
Okay. Ms. Balal, we were just speaking to BJP leader Mr. Tirupati, and what he said is what Mr. Amit Shah said. The Home Minister had said earlier is that Hindi is the official language. He did not mean to impose the same on everyone. Nobody is forcing you to speak it or say it. Hence, there is no question of imposition, quote unquote.
He needs to clarify who is saying the right thing. Is it Prime Minister Modi ji who is saying the right thing, or is it Amit Shah who is saying the right thing? BJP needs to have a clarity what their stand is when it comes to language. Because if he is contradicting Prime Minister Modi, I'm very surprised at him contradicting Prime Minister Modi. Having said that, we in South India have experienced how Hindi is imposed in a day-to-day life, be it the name boards or the
Okay,
name
just
plates.
hold that thought. Just hold that thought. Let's take this across to the BJP. Ms. Khushbu Sundar of the Bharatiya Janata Party is also joining us on the phone line. Ms. Sundar, what Ms. Lavanya Balal is saying is that who is saying the right thing? Is it Prime Minister Modi who says that we support all languages, or is it the Home Minister who says use Hindi as the link language as the alternative to English? Ms. Sundar, can you hear me?
why तक कुछ और
Ms. Khushbu Sundar, if you can hear me, my question is what the Congress is raising, specifically what Ms. Lavanya Balal, who's on the phone line with us, is raising, is that tell us who's speaking the real thing. Is it Prime Minister Modi who says that the BJP supports all regional languages are the spirit of India, or is it the Home Minister who says Hindi is the official language, you have to use it as the alternative to English, you have to use it as a link language? Who should we believe?
You are not audible to me very clearly. Can you just come back to me?
Ma'am, my question was, the Congress's question to the Bharatiya Janata Party is, who is saying the right thing? Prime Minister Modi today says that BJP supports all regional languages, but then the Home Minister earlier says that Hindi is to be used as the link language.
I think there's an understanding problem with the Congress and the opposition party leaders. First thing you need to understand, when we say link language, it does not mean that we are making that as an official language. We say link language. You have your thinking language, and we say link language, which can be connected all over the India. More than 43% of Indians, they speak Hindi. And what the Prime Minister said today, that all the languages are respected and we should learn all the languages, and that is what we have been saying. So the opposition, which has an understanding problem because their brains do not work or they overshoot at times without understanding as to what the actual the question or the answer is, they start raising a question without understanding. And I say exactly what the Prime Minister and the Home Minister said earlier. Let Hindi be the link language and respect the languages, because we have such beautiful, rich languages all over the country. The amount of languages we speak, the amount of languages we love to learn, we all are multilingual. No other country in the world has so many languages as we do in India. So we should be proud of ourselves and say that we are rich, we are culturally rich, we are linguistically rich. So let's make ourselves extremely rich by learning different languages and not stick, if you can accept, English.
So it's not a question of imposing Hindi,
which is no way connected with us. If we can learn English, why can't we learn a language which is spoken by more than 43%? And
okay,
again,
I'll take that question to the Congress party. So if we can learn English, why can't we learn another language which is spoken by 43% of the population? What's the problem, Lavanya Balal?
Exactly our question. If Hindi can be the link language, why can't one of the South Indian languages be the link language? A huge number of Indians migrate to South Indian states in search of jobs. So why can't one of the South Indian language, which has a huge cultural and traditional background, be the link language in India? Why does it North Indian states follow the three-language policy? Why is it only applicable in the South Indian states?
Okay. Ms. Sundar, would you like to respond to that?
No, you're not audible. Can you just repeat her question to me?
Why can't one of the southern languages be the link language?
Please, I'm sorry, I don't know who my distinguished panelist, the panelist
Ms.
is.
Lavanya Balal of the Congress party. Yeah.
Okay, Tamil is the oldest language in the world. In the world, Tamil is the only language. But please understand how many people speak Tamil. In every state, your own state language is your second language. Is a compulsory second language. Like in Tamil Nadu, you have to learn Tamil as your second language. In Madhya Pradesh, you have to learn Hindi as a second language. In Maharashtra, you have to learn Marathi as a second language. And vice versa, in every other state, you have to learn the local language as your compulsory second language. You have an option for a third language. You are in English medium, you learn your state language, and you speak your mother tongue. So what is the problem in picking up one language? Any language, the choice is yours. Pick it up. Learn the language. Why is it, are the Congress trying to say that their MPs and whoever the past ministers were from Tamil Nadu or any of the South Indian states did not learn Hindi when they went to Delhi or when they were in power? Didn't Mr. P. Chidambaram learn the language? Didn't Mr. Manik Thakur learn the language? Didn't anybody else, Jayant Natarajan, learn the language in the past? Any people who have been from the South, didn't they learn the language when they were in Delhi for so long? When you want power, you want to learn Hindi. But the minute we say learn every language, you take a double standard and say that why not Tamil? Who are you trying to fool? Every South Indian person who is in Delhi learns to speak Hindi. And the same, vice versa, whoever comes from the north, and if they want to live in South, they learn the local language. So there's never been an issue. What is Congress trying to make a scene out of this? You're not going to gain any brownie points by actually trying to fool the people.
Okay, so you're basically playing politics, Lavanya Balal, is what the BJP is saying. You're basically trying to divide people on the basis of language when there is no issue to be made such a huge deal out of.
I respectfully disagree. We are just asking for a clarification from the Home Minister and the Prime Minister of the nation. Who among them is saying the right thing? Is it that all Indian languages have to be respected, or is it that Hindi is the national language, is what BJP is claiming, which is contrary to what India states, right? The Constitution states we have two official languages. We do not have a national language, and that is where the dispute is. We respect all languages of India, and we do believe all languages should be given its due space.
Okay. So that is what the Congress has to say. We've heard from the Bharatiya Janata Party as well, Ms. Lavanya Balal and Ms. Khushbu Sundar. Thank you so much for speaking to India Today. Let's see if the categorical statement which has been made by Prime Minister Modi today lays this debate to rest. Remember, this was a debate which was sparked off after an exclusive interview that Kannada superstar Kicha Sudeep, in fact, gave to our sister concern, Karnataka Tak, and after which Bollywood superstar Ajay Devgan also waded into the debate, and there was a bit of a Twitter spat between the two actors as well. India Today's news break on the superstar language war, in fact, has now intensified. Let's listen into some of those old reactions from southern superstars on this brewing debate.
Hindi is no more national language. So which is the national language today? Which is the national language?
No national language.
Correct? So what is pan-India? Just because ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಆ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕಾ ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು? ಅರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನೋಡೋದು ಬಿಡೋದು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು, ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡೋದು ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವಿರೋದು. So because we come from South India, they've started terming us pan-India, pan-India, pan-India. Why isn't Hindi being said as pan-India? ಅವರು ಇವತ್ತು ತೆಲುಗು, ತಮಿಳು, ಮಲಯಾಳಂ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆನೂ ಅವರು ಡಬ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಓಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಮಾಡಿ ಡಬ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಓಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So which is having a better reaction from the audiences today? ಇವತ್ತು ನೀವು ಪುಷ್ಪ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನೀವು KGF ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಟ್ಟರು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಗೆದ್ರು.
I wasn't saying I wasn't keen to go into that business. I was always saying that I wouldn't want to do Hindi films. I would always want to do Telugu films. This I've been saying from a long time. So now I'm very happy that what I've been saying is happening. So I always was in the strong opinion that what my strength is to do a Telugu film. And so the emotion, what I know, is a Telugu full emotion. But today, the emotions are so strong, the films have become so big, that eventually, I think the line has blurred, and it's become Indian cinema. So what I thought is becoming true, and I'm very, very happy with it.
I love, and I've always liked, Hindi cinema and stuff. I'm open if there's any great offer or if there's any nice film on my way. I'm definitely open to do a nice Hindi film, a multi-language film. I'm open. I genuinely haven't. I just want to do a good film. That's my only thing that I have in my mind.
Yeah, I love Bollywood movies, and Bollywood is blessed with a lot of amazing actors and technicians and filmmakers. So I don't think I have to do a Bollywood movie just for the sake of doing it. I'll do a Bollywood movie if the character demands me. Or else it will look odd if I come and do a character here if it's not suiting me. I don't want to go and act in all the industry. I think I should keep on doing Malayalam movies, and I should be able to take Malayalam movies all over the world.
The priority should not be about working in Bollywood or Tollywood or any other industry. I think priority should be about making great content, because once you make great content, it automatically reaches out to every industry. So you really need not run behind something once you really do a great film. So I think focus should be on that. And someday if there is something coming from Bollywood which is great, which I feel that this will be nice, I'll definitely do it.
Now, actor Arjun Rampal also waded into this language war. Listen in to this exclusive conversation.
Very, very diverse, very, secular, very, country with so many different languages and so many different cultures and so many different, festivals and religions and, all of that. And we all live here together peacefully and happily. I think the language is nothing. I think what's most important for me is the emotion. I think Hindi has been our national language, right through. So I think we should respect that. I think it's spoken the most in this diverse country and understood the most, to communicate. But that's not taking away from any other languages.
Tamil Nadu Minister K. Ponmudi stirred a massive controversy when he claimed that Hindi speakers sell pani puri. Listen in.
சொன்னாங்க ஹிந்தி படிச்சா வேலை கிடைக்குதா ஹிந்தி நம்ம ஊரில் கோயம்புத்தூர்ல போய் பாருங்க பான்பூரி வச்சுக்கிறோம் எந்த கடை யாரு எல்லாம் தான் ஆக அது ஒரு காலம் இப்போ ஆங்கிலம் இன்டர்நேஷனல் லாங்குவேஜ்